Well, you saw one of the Fable players there just giving a quick text home to mum to let him know he's probably on the plane home soon, unless things change.
I don't think he said that at all.
Huh?
He still goes on the plane at the same time, Hindu man.
Does he?
Yeah, we don't
I
move
don't
their
know that.
flights.
I would. Why do we have them here if they're out?
Because they earned their spot here.
Yeah, but they're out.
Yeah, but that
Send them
doesn't-
home.
Man, that's mean.
I mean, what do you want?
What would have happened if once you were done casting on the event that we brought you here for, we just sent you home right away? What about that?
I'd love it.
Uh-huh.
I'd love it. I would have seen the wedding today and everything. It would have been great.
Yeah, well, you would have been invited. You actually,
I
really,
was.
It's really
What the
kind of
hell?
you to end up not going to the royal wedding just to be here to cast
They
our
actually
console.
offered me to officiate the wedding. I was like,
Did
no.
they really?
No. SCL's going on. Console is more important than the prince getting married.
It's true. He did that. I saw the invitation.
I can't even keep a straight face about caring about the wedding. I'm sorry. I tried. Fable versus Rival. Game 2. Fable is not up 1-0, boys and girls, so ignore that at the top. That will get changed momentarily. It's Rival with the 1-0 here, but Fable will be the first pick, first bam. Let's see if we can get some things changed.
And I think they should just try and pick around that early game success that they've had so far. The Double Hunter is a step in that right direction. I just think they should double down and go with Auzrik with an early game jungler, continue to give Chronic early game solo laners, that kind of stuff. Just don't try and sprinkle in a little bit of late game. Go all in. Just
All
go
in early?
straight for the early. Yeah.
Okay, I can see that point of view, especially with how Fable have played so far. Let's see if they can go for that mentality. Well, Achilles, Saket, two guys that you would love to do the early pressure with. Not going to happen. It will be the Chulainn. Good lane bully, though, in the grand scheme of things. Not many can really match the prowess of that warrior.
Yeah, this is a smart idea this time. A smart switch up, I should say, from Fable. These are the exact same picks and bans from game number 1, except last game they locked in that Odin first overall. Didn't end up working out particularly well. Give the Chulainn to Chronic, but more importantly, take it away from Predators. He's looked so good on this Chulainn so far today. Make him play something else.
And now that we Terra and Darji locked in for Rival, Terra definitely going to be a pick. Contested continuously throughout this tournament so far, and will continue on. But with them going for the Darji, it's given the Ravana over to Fable here.
Yeah, and Daji's seeing some more play on the console side of things than on PC, and it's kind of opened the door for Ravana and Agni to go the way of Fable instead. I'm interested that a lot of these console junglers seem to really prefer the Daji, whereas we didn't see a lot of her at the Masters Land on PC, but when we did see her, she did very well most of the time. So I kind of like that console is saying, no, we're convinced this pick is good and going with it.
Well, there has been times in history where console have been ahead of the meta than that of PC. The likes of Guan Yu is one that rings a bell dramatically, where console were playing him for months ahead of time, and then finally PC went, you know what? These boys might be onto something.
Yep, the Odin as well. I think Odin saw a lot of play on the console side and still does, more so than PC, but I think it was just more of a comfort pick for a lot of teams, and players knew how to use that cage effectively even when not caging people in. I'm thinking about guys like Wolves, guys like Uzi, who played that pick consistently no matter what the enemy team was really throwing at them, and we started to see PC teams adopt that. I don't know that that's going to happen with Daji necessarily. It's pretty straightforward. She just murders people really, really well. But I like that we're already starting to see some comfort picks develop here on the console side.
Are we early enough game so far for Fable, though? We asked for early game. We've got an Agni, a Ravana, and a Chulainn. I mean, feel Ravana and Chulainn early game, yeah, you know, they can put a bit of a beat down on, but where else do they need to go?
I like these first 3 picks. This is fitting it for me so far. Could be...
You feel Agni falls into that category? Like, is it more
Yeah, Agni can really get big leads very, very quickly. He can play very aggressively, can utilize any sort of advantage, and then find 1v1s. His early game damage is really, really crazy when he gets ahead. So I don't think that's a problem by any stretch. I'm looking for earlier game Guardians. I don't want to see a Geb or anything like that.
Right.
I don't know that Ymir is a particularly good pick here against Daji, Raijin, but Sylvanas could be a pretty good pick overall. Wouldn't even mind seeing a warrior support if I'm Fable. Just really try and go all in on it. I mean, an earlier game hunter as well, like a Hachiman.
Warrior supports, though, what kind? I mean, the ones that scream to my mind, Hercules, Guan Yu, are they, like, viable here?
Maybe. I mean, I don't think that those are necessarily your best picks, period, but your best early game potential picks.
Warrior supports is what I was really looking at there. Like, there's not many warrior supports that are really, like, you know,
Guan,
feel that way.
Right, exactly. I understand that. I think Amaterasu could be a good pick for that. Ama support is pretty solid, and I think that could really give Terra some problems. Wukong a little bit worse right now. Just doesn't quite bring enough in the damage department to really be worthy of a selection there, but I think Amma could really fit the bill.
Okay, Geb and the Odin banned out by Fable. This time round, over to Rival for their next pick. Already got a mid and a jungler. They will now pick up their Hunter. Now this is a flexibility thing for Rival because that Terra can go to the solo lane if required here.
It can, but I expect Predators to take another Warrior into that solo lane with how aggressive he's played so far. I really like the Hachiman pick. It takes it away from Fable, keeps them from being particularly aggressive in that dual lane, but it also is safety for Vaporish Coast.
Cerberus in the early game can put a bit of a beat down on, but will he be support? More than likely.
Yeah.
Although if you asked for it, you could put that Cerberus in the solo lane and have the Chulainn support. We've seen it before, at least in the PC world. It's aggressive early, aggro.
It is, but I think Cerberus can fit the bill as an aggressive enough Guardian in that lane that you don't have to try and force something like that. Rom, not particularly early game, but also can, with a lead, start to be the bully, and that ultimate really does swing early on. I think Fable has the right idea here. I still think the Rom selection is a little bit too late game for my liking, but still not too bad.
Well, I was going to expect, like, Fable have kind of a curve in terms of their composition of, like, it will grow nicely into the late game with the Rama, with the Agni.
Yeah.
In tow, it's got a strong suit there. So Wukong is the last pick that more than likely will be in the solo lane to match up against the Chulainn.
Predator's one of his comfort selections. When I think of his play, I think of the Chulainn, the Wukong, the tier, stuff like that. This Wukong is a pick that he's been playing for a very, very long time. I don't think it's any surprise that he's willing to pull it out in a game like this with the elimination game for Rival. If they can win this, they send Fable home. They guarantee their spot playing tomorrow. I think this pick is totally fine. Not something that I would pick all the time. I don't think Wukong is particularly strong right now, but I don't think he's so weak that he's not worth picking at all.
One question. Do we see some shenanigans out of Fable at the start of this game trying to throw them off?
I hope so. I think that they should. If they weren't planning on it, they should start planning on it now.
Well, let's find out. The casters are standing by to bring us Game 2.
Time to move into Game 2 here between Fable and Rival. Fable, meaning Fable. Yeah, we'll get it right one day here. But those team compositions certainly look interesting. You heard Aggro talking a little bit here about how that Sun Wukong is kind of a comfort pick, or one that we certainly know he can play.
It's not a very traditional, well, it is more of a traditional pick, but it's not in the meta. It's not in vogue right now. It definitely can make an impact if you're not careful. It forces Cerberus to stay in the support. You don't want to really deal with the potential knockup. Once you use Ghastly Breath, you could get interrupted. The knockup from the Ox form is annoying to deal with, and that's the factor that Fable need to consider. That's why ChronicTheBros will play the Chulainn, allowing the Cerberus to still sit alongside Davies Rom.
Predators is going to be playing it up against Chronic here on the Chulainn in the solo lane matchup, but we know just how well Predators can play this, so we'll keep an eye on those two. Auzrik going to be on the Ravana in the jungle, and Auzrik is the one that we keyed in on earlier in the set as could be potentially where Fable wants to look at if they want to have a chance here up against a rival. He does have plenty of experience. He's been playing well this land so far. Can he get it done for him here on this Blink Ravana?
And changing things up between the Ao Kuang here to the Blink Ravana is the selection to make the plays happen. The question is he going to go speed to red, or is he going to stay more towards the solo lane? Honestly, I'd like to see him avoid the solo lane with ChronicTheBros playing the Chulainn. He doesn't need blue buff to sustain his abilities. However, the golden experience would certainly help him get that advantage over Predators. I just think in Season 5, the dual lane is more of a factor in the early to mid momentum swings that you should, especially if you have Blink on Auzrik. That's just a given telltale sign that he's looking for a pre-level 5 gank in the dual lane.
Certainly. He's going to be looking for an impact early, and that's kind of what we've been asking from Fable, right? To sort of lean into their early success maybe and try and get ahead even further early on. As we did see the poll pop up on the screen, Rival even more heavily favored this time than last after their impressive performance. Davey and Killy, though, getting a lot of pressure in duo. Got some good poke and forcing back DineOhSaw and Vaporish Coast. Might even be able to contest this purple buff.
Oh, they just barely get it in the nick of time, but they're going to lose a little bit of experience under the tower and more gold. That's the problem now for Fable's kind of draft, or Fable taking advantage of. I think that Rival are on the back foot as a result. They're not going to get their red buff as well because Fable is on the invade warpath.
And they've been able to secure their own red buff. This is something Fable did well in Game 1. The problem is that Team Rival didn't seem to care that much. They did a good job finding other areas to secure their farm and make sure they were able to still stay ahead. Fable, if they're going to get off to a good start in duo on this duo side of the map, then they can't afford to lose everywhere else too.
Kelly secures his own purple buff, getting a huge advantage buff-wise. You get 2 reds, a purple, speed, and blue. You have the rainbow from FableGG. This is Captain Smite, simulated in Fable's draft.
He's a hero. Apparently, at least in this game, is what's going to be. Killy in a lot of trouble already. Gets caught out a little bit by DineOhSaw on Vapor's Coast, forced to jump away. He'll still be okay for now. But again, Team Rival have done a good job already. It feels like regaining some of the pressure here in this lane. They don't have the clear advantage, but already they're kind of stepping up, even into the red-purple buffs of Fable.
Auzrik is right around the corner. He just finished killing those back left camps, but not going to look for that gank with the blink. Instead, min-maxing his farm, trying to go for the back right, wanting to make sure that he's not going to be too far behind Rapio.
Now, a 50-meter fly looks like he's trying to go with the Book of Thoth start here. Maybe going to the Soul Reaver, but I mean, Book of Thoth, you think to get it started early to try and go into those stacks. It is something that just works for Raijin or some 50-meter fly likes to do, as opposed to going like the Mage's Blessing Warlocks.
Either or works better, but I think Soul Reaver has been the more popular selection as of recent. A lot of mid-mages wanting to get that extra 10% or true damage rather every 40 seconds to get that wombo combo potential, and Raijin is definitely one of those guys that can burst you down unexpectedly almost to a point that because of how little Raijin gets played competitively, certain players might not be accustomed to the damage he truly provides game in and game out. So there might be that disrespect factor from Fable if they're not careful.
It does feel like that could potentially happen, and with 50-meter fly on the Raijin, I mean, he does have the jump available with the Thunder Crash. He can get out of there, so maybe not needing to worry about getting the Warlocks going early on. He can afford to go into the Soul Reaver and just make sure that his damage is at a high level. Auzrik is here, though. There's the blink coming out, and Predators, yet again, is the one in trouble in the solo lane. And he gets slowed down. Auzrik is able to find first blood for Fable yet again. We've seen them get out to these good starts before, though.
It was just read like a book, honestly. Predators has a lot of history with Auzrik, so that was no surprise to me as to the patience level. You knew that the Tiger Stun would be used just for the poke damage, and without any sort of real rotation from Rapio, there was no need for Predators to go that deep. Neither warrior really backed yet anyway to take advantage of a teleport that was on cooldown, but Rapio trying to return the favor in the dual lane.
He goes in, immediately turns attention towards Killy, and they are going to be able to find that kill without a problem. Jane lands on the Davey 2, pulls him right back into problems. Double kill in the dual lane. They may have gone to different targets, but they take down Killy and Davey both.
Pull during the rollout.
Wow, what a hit.
So unfortunate. You can't use Purification during that ability, so that timing couldn't have been any better. He would have had to pre-beat that and then roll out, but then at that point, you're just basically in a weird spot. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. I would have liked to see him just honestly walk away. You were sacrificing your support Killy anyway. Walk away. If you get chained, that's when you use the beads. It's not like you're in desperation mode where you have to roll out. And that half second, quarter second, whatever it is, actual cast time was the reason he died. He couldn't use the beads even if he wanted to.
Now they are going to be on cooldown, it looks like, for Davey for a little while longer. But as you mentioned, because he was in the rollout, he ends up getting punished either way. Rapio, though, has 1-0-0. Responds to the pressure from Auzrik in solo lane by immediately coming over and ganking duo. And initially I thought it might not work because they had duo pushed up, but they walked up into it. And Chronic wants to see if maybe he can come strip away blue, but he'll be a little too late for that.
Predators very low on the backhand side. Not going to be able to pick up that blue quite yet. A lot of mind games between these two. The mini waves approaching closer and closer to the tower. Keep in mind, Predators doesn't have his teleport.
Earth and Fury has to come out from DineOhSaw after the aggression from Davey and Killy. Need I remind you that they were just ganked and killed, and now they're the ones going aggressive towards the purple buff, right? It feels like they're not deterred at all, and I love the confidence that we're seeing from Fable. Rapio instead showing a little bit of presence in mid.
They also identified that Rapio was on the right side of the map. There was a small window that they could take advantage and even go for the purple buff. They successfully walk away like bandits, and it's trying to establish a sort of dominance over DineOhSaw and Vaporish Coast.
They got to be careful, though. Rapio's over here with them. I don't think he knows where they're at, though. Or he's trying to wait on them to come back over from the purple buff. Now Rapio has a chance to go in on them yet again. DineOhSaw going to go in for the stun, lands. Immediate chain, pulls Killy back in. What a plan. The Stygian Torment is going to get him away for the moment. Not going to be able to land the root, but the slow is better from Vaporous Coast, but a huge Mystic Rush comes out from Auzrik to make it a 1-for-1 trade.
It hit all 3 members. DineOhSaw trying to run away, gets the stun off. That's all he needed to, but he blinks right past it. Still going on to DineOhSaw. Will find him 2-for-1 at the end of the day.
Good play there from Auzrik to save them from what was almost certainly going to be a bad scenario. So patient was Rapio, and they played that perfectly, but Auzrik's rotation, the Mystic Rush, as you highlighted, hitting 3 was huge to turn the tide.
Couldn't really find out the 50-meter fly, unfortunately, but they found the kills that they really wanted to. It was Killy that died originally, and then in response, taking out DineOhSaw was the key factor, alongside with Vaporous Coast, that he had to use that mounted archery offensively to apply the slow onto Killy to chase him down. But that was the perfect time, at the right place at the right time. Couldn't even been said more perfectly there by Auzrik.
It was such a great play. I really liked the way the initial one worked, where they wait on the stun from DineOhSaw, guarantees the first chain, and just insta-pull him in. We want him out of position so we can try and set up the kill. And it took a little bit more damage than they wanted. Stygian Torment was good to sort of deter them from going all in right away, and that, I think, is what kind of helped set up for Auzrik to get in there in time to land the big Mystic Rush.
And the way Rapio executed that powwow, hit chain, cancel, a lot of confidence there. He snapped it. As soon as he hit the chain, he didn't even think twice about it. He knew he was going to connect right onto Killy, and that's going to be a nice solo kill from ChronicTheBros.
No one else is over here. Yeah, that checks out as solo to me. Chronic able to find Predators, who again gets a little bit aggressive. We saw his player cam there for just a second. I think he recognized that he might have stepped just a little bit too far forward, but that's the Predator's way. It is not going to deter this man from being aggressive.
Just too much aggression can be a fault, as Auzrik is going to force the disengage from Fly. Rapio a little low, but will sustain from the Assassin's Blessing on the back left camps. Both of these junglers sitting at about that level 9 marker, but Yonen's Wrath has been finished first by Auzrik with those 3 kills. He's getting a slight gold lead over his opposition, almost about 500 gold between these 2 junglers.
Yeah, top of the net worth chart for Auzrik in the jungle, and he's been excellent for Fable so far. And as we talked about it, we kind of expect him to be that for this team. You heard them say it. A lot of them are rookies, or at least don't have much LAN experience here, so they are certainly relying on Auzrik to be that voice for them, that experience that's been here before in a LAN environment and knows how to react when rival gets off to a good lead and takes game 1 and you're facing elimination from the tournament, which they are. They can kind of count on him to play well and be calm in comms, as DineOhSaw might be in trouble.
Trying to go onto DineOhSaw, but he's going to double dash away. Here comes the Earth and Fury. Sprint being popped by Killy as well. Stygian Torment looking for the knockback, but Vaporous Coast trying to disengage, just barely avoiding the Auzrik.
They might be able to punish Auzrik, though, who goes too far for Vaporous Coast, who manages to escape. Tycho drums, puts damage into Waldrom, and Killy gets pulled right back into the claws from Rapio, who takes him down. Double kill 50-meter fly as he pumps Waldrom into the ground, and now even with the shots coming out from Vaporous Coast, I don't think they're going to be able to save it here.
Predator saving the life of his mid-mage. It's a 4 for nothing quite yet. Hold on, I thought the ChronicTheBros finds out one as he's still boxing against Predators that doesn't have much mana, but he's baiting for his 2 allies.
Yeah, he's probably thinking, hey, I can actually win this fight. Chronic gets a double kill. He finds it. They do lock him down before he can find yet another one. Double kill for Vaporous. So what could have been a clean deicide instead ends up being 2 kills returned back off the good play from Chronic.
And that was totally worth, because if it wasn't those 2 return kills, if there was no meat shield in the face of a rival, then they would have gotten the Gold Fury immediately after, and that would have been way worse.
Instead, though, Fable able to sort of slow the bleeding there just a little bit with that rotation over from Chronic, who stays alive. It feels like way longer than maybe he should have been able to on this Chulainn. He is level 11, has that Gladiator Shield finished, and certainly able to have a big impact for them there. So rival win the fight. They get nothing else. Gold lead, though, is just about all evened up. It was in Fable's favor going into that, and now things are just about even.
And the thing is, the only reason why Chronic was able to survive for as long as he did was the Gladiator Shield. Everybody coming in 1 by 1, and he procs that healing every single time, and 2.5% of your maximum health is still enough, considering that you're hitting all 5 members. Even with that internal cooldown, you could probably find the reset and make that even higher.
He's way up there in the player damage charts now. I imagine a lot comes from that engagement to give him some separated from Predators as he boxed up against it. Felt like
Nice
everyone. DineOhSaw is almost perfectly locked in. They force Coast in the air, but they don't even need it. Auzrik finds the last hit to take down the support.
The stun from Killy prevents that first dash coming through from
Right.
DineOhSaw. He had nowhere to go immediately after the damage coming through from Auzrik. The snipes from Davey just for good measure. Mystic rush to find the kill onto Terra. Now the question remains, how is Fable going to capitalize on this 5-on-4? Because they're the ones that are going to get collapsed in mid.
Team Rival still moving in aggressively, even without DineOhSaw. Chronic is on the backside, giving problems to 50-meter fly, but the rest of Team Rival are here to look for the collapse. Bombs lands, Tiger Stun lands as well. Killy here to try and push them back with a ghastly breath, but now the Taiko drums come out. They don't really hit much of anyone as Predators continues to go in forward as he likes to do. Gold Fury gonna be the call from the rest of Fable, and Rival finally recognized. Now they're here. Vaporous Coast wants to try and keep the objective pulled. Fable
They get
hit
it.
the Gold Fury, and now they gotta try and retreat, but Davey blown up as is Auzrik.
The question now is Rival going to continue with the tier 1 tower? It's a 5-on-3 for about 20 seconds. Davey still responding. Predator's doing what he does best in a 1v2, but he doesn't have that ultimate. He needs to sustain a little bit. He's going to sacrifice himself. No, he lives. Vaporish Coast finds another kill in the tier 2, but ChronicTheBros deterring the tier 1 tower siege.
Predator's Tiger stuns underneath the tier 2 tower and finds it. Now Chronic uses the ultimate to knock up 2 members, but it's too much consistent damage. He has the thorns ticking,
No
looks
way.
for 1 kill,
No
finds a double
way.
kill now. Does Chronic? He gets rooted out though by DineOhSaw. Vaporous Coast has the damage. They finally shut him down, but Chronic yet again trades out 2 lives for his own.
Man, these soul laners are just going at it with each other. Now making the rotation is Davey going into the sky. 1 is missing, second one as well. So the third one, even if he connects, would have not found the kill. Still like the idea, though, to look for that. They were going to back otherwise, and if you find a kill, who knows? Maybe you can even squeeze in a tier 1 tower, but instead, Fable going for the guarantee play of the Pyromancer.
They're going to be able to grab this one for themselves without too much trouble. The gold lead has all been evened up, but experience really does still seem to be in favor of Team Rival. This should maybe help them cut into this a little bit as it does come down about 600. But this is where I wanted to look. I mean, take a look at where it's 9 of those kills are on Chronic and Auzrik, and then 9 of the deaths are on Waldrom, Killy, and Davey. They've been getting help from them, but really the ones that are finishing those fights off are Auzrik and Chronic.
The 2 double warriors out of Fable really making it happen as we approach that 13.5-minute mark. Gold Fury is still down for about another 3 minutes. Rival have the advantage, honestly, with this team fighting aspects. The way they've been forcing these team fights, but it's all been ChronicTheBros with the re-engagement. So as long as they can avoid this soul lane, I think Rival are fine.
They're able to try and collapse on the Killy. Chain 1 does not land. Chain 2 does. The pull is enough. Vaporous Coast smacks him with an arrow. 50-meter fly is here with a little bit of control from the Taiko drums. Aegis keeps Vaporous Coast alive for a moment, but they catch him as soon as it's done. Then the dunk takes down Rapio as well. DineOhSaw rotates it.
Oh, Dinosaur couldn't make up his mind of what he wanted to do. He was about to crash in, force the root, but instead went for the stump. At that point, everybody already disengaged, couldn't make it happen. Forcing a team fight without a Terra for the Earth and Fury, you need to know your timing windows of being able to get in and get out of danger, and didn't respect that aspect without their Terra support.
Now, Fable has done a good job so far of not dying immediately. So still there are people who are falling for them, but they're making Rival commit maybe a step or two too far out of line, and that is part of what's setting up for Auzrik and Chronic to be able to come in and find these return kills. I think they would have liked to not have to have Vaporous Coast go quite that far to be able to find that kill.
Rival feeling a little overconfident, almost to a fault.
That's part of it,
across
yes.
all roles, to be fair. This could come back and haunt them if they're not careful. They do have a 1-game lead, so that gives them a little wiggle room to look for these offensive plays as Rapio speed buff about to respawn. Chronic recognizing this will be that solo lane bully.
Gets good damage into Rapio, but takes over half of Hellsbar in return from 50-meter fly, but he's still going to continue looking for speed buff as Fable take the tier 1 in mid. And it looks like they are going to be able to drop that speed buff too, so actually successful invade and tower siege by Fable, catching Rival on their backs.
Stun out to fly, forcing the disengage. Killy licking his scars as he's at half health as well. Gold Fury not responding for another minute. A clean tier 1 tower out of Fable, still with a gold advantage, considering that they lost so many more members in the score department, the kill score rather. It's not always dictates the game.
Predators looking aggressively for Killy, but gets forced back. Chronic, yet again, in between 3 members. This appears to be right where he wants to be in all these fights. Not going to be able to find anything more. Gold Fury still down for a while. But as you mentioned, Fable have a lead. They have the tier 1 tower taken in mid. It's not a tremendous lead at this point, but it shows that they certainly are holding on to their early game advantage.
I think it's a lot to do with this Agni Cerberus combination. This protection shred has been crucial. It's not your same typical soul lane style Cerberus, because at this point you would certainly have a Void Stone to augment that Agni damage, but it's still enough with the Ghastly Breath to really allow the cooldown reduction from Waldrom to start taking into effect. Chronos Pendant with the Evolved Mage's Blessing, he's sitting at 30% at the moment. Now working on the Spear of the Magus to get some more penetration and augmenting with that passive damage over time.
That's right. He elected to go with the Book of Thoth as opposed to the Soul Weaver. We were kind of wondering where he was going to end up going with that earlier on. He went the stacking route, so that is already done for him. A bit of an advantage he has over Waldrom, who's just gone Chronos Boots and is looking for Pen next. Not so much going for that big power bank stacking item as much as trying to get that penetration online as soon as possible.
Doesn't need the penetration, honestly, if you're sitting with Cerberus. Hand in
That's true.
hand. The Ghastly
That's fair.
Breath allows the penetration to be delayed a little bit. As we're approaching that 17-minute mark, Agni sitting very comfortably at this level 14. He survived the early game. Despite having the 2 deaths, he's still in a great spot, same level as 50-meter fly.
They're going to let Davey pull this Gold Fury while Chronic and Killy look for the zone. DineOhSaw is going to walk right in. That is forcing Davey to fall back, but Fable are able to grab the objective. Killy actually Stygian Torment on a DineOhSaw who falls right into the left mouse button, or rather the auto attack coming out here from Davey. Predators goes in aggressively while Rapio looks for the Palo, but not able to find anyone to pull.
Not quite yet. Davey's trying to take some pot shots, but it's ChronicTheBros that's between a rock and a hard place. He's going to be the first victim, almost taking out a several, but it's Predators that finds one in return on the backhand side. Doesn't have the ultimate to get away. Will ultimately falls 2 for 1 at the end of the day. Keep in mind, Fable got the Gold Fury.
Something to punish the aggression, though, for Predators, who goes a little bit too far. So at least they were able to find that kill. Now looking for a little bit more as Davey needs to find the shots. Can't find the second with the dash from DineOhSaw, but even without the vision, takes him down with a 3rd hit. DineOhSaw is going to be sitting out. So is Killy, though. 50-meter fly comes in. Davey goes in aggressive and gets punished for it. Now Auzrik is the one who could be in trouble. Overhead kick, not going to be enough to save him. Double kill, 50-meter fly.
Wow.
Full deicide.
Wow, just trusting the teammates a little bit too hard there. That deicide didn't really respect the fact that Rapio was right around the corner and 50-meter fly. I felt like they just couldn't get away, so they're like, all right, since we can't get away, let's just kind of fight this. But man, Rival are getting so much in return as a result. They did lose the Gold Fury, but a full deicide wipe with a tier 2 tower potentially keeps them in the game.
Able to get out of there, or maybe not, is Waldrom. The jump comes out from Rapio, and they take him. Chronic is here to play clean-up duty, as he's done so far. He is able to take down Rapio. 50-meter fly now needs to find a way to get out. Is Chronic going to continue to chase him down? He just kind of going to go ring around the rosy until his thunder crashes back up, and it works! Chronic lost track of him!
Oh, but he's going to walk over the ward. Keep in mind, DineOhSaw right around the corner should find the root if necessary. Will thunder crash away defensively. DineOhSaw didn't know that Chronic was still chasing, losing those left side mids. Not a concern for 50-meter fly. That's really just very content with trying to look for the farm. He even tried to go back to the soul lane side. DineOhSaw not having any of that one, though.
But every game from Fable, it's felt like you could look back over and see a moment or two where their decision-making might not have been there, right? The Gold Fury fight just now as Predators is going aggressive again. We might have to hold that thought. He's down to half health, and Chronic and Oz are going to continue to chunk him. They force out the Somersault Cloud. They're able to shut down the healing, and now they're going to fan out to see where he jumps.
He has Gladiator Shield, but not landing on the enemies to get that healing, even though DineOhSaw and 50-meter fly right around the corner, playing it super safe, wanting to finishing off that Genji's guard more than likely. A more popular item considering that it gives you that cooldown reduction, a huge amount of MP5. We did see Oni's Hunter's guard from Wolves earlier on in the day, which probably should have been a Spirit's Room, to be fair, considering how much crowd control was on the opposite end. But just like that, it is the Genji's guard. He's sitting with a decent amount of cooldown reduction.
Chronic on zone duty as the Pyromancer goes the way of Fable. Now has the ultimate to bring Rapio very low, down to about half health, and Chronic going to continue to chase. Lands the root too. Killy's on his way to try and follow this up, but I think Rapio might be out. Never mind, Chronic's willing to dive. The tier 2 chains are going to land, and they are going to be able to pull him right back into the walls, which collapse him, and Tycho drums over the wall as well. 50-meter fly. Chronic goes way too far and gets punished off great team play. Killy now looking to pull him in, but gets deleted by Vaporic Coast.
Auzrik not able to make it happen either, though, because the Mystic Rush is not available. Bombs are trying to save him. Waldrom at 1%. Davey with a double, but it's Vaporish with a triple. It's only Davey up in the sky trying to make it happen. Dash not available for the young hunter. The snipe is good.
Davey's able to find a double kill, and now he's looking to box it out. Looking for the light, still trying to keep him standing up against Rapio. Rolls in aggressively, finds the hit, triple kill. The hunters are popping off here in the console league. He's not able to track down exactly where 50-meter fly is, so he has to retreat. It's the 1v1. 4 members have fallen on each side, only 2 standing.
Davey saying, whatever you can do, Vaporish, I can do better. Both of them getting a triple kill for their teammates. Man, this game so back and forth. Team Rival alone has more kills than there's been minutes in the game, and Fable are catching up to that counter.
Wow, 10-3-7 for Vaporish Coast, though. He continues to look excellent here in this LAN event so far. He's really been so strong. Davey, though, as you mentioned, not too far behind now, is he? Trying to catch up. In terms of player damage, look at them. They're neck and neck, less than, what, 400 separating them. They've both been so strong this game. Davey really coming into his own here in this game, too.
Davey playing the Ram is more of a late-game-centric kind of god. Vaporish Coast playing the Hachiman, more mid-game-centric, having a lot of attack speed. Once your Heavenly Banner is maxed out, you're getting 15% for yourself, and then another 50% for yourself and teammates inside the banner, and that really helps you clear out some of these objectives. But it's been all Fable starting and ending these objectives, but the problem is every single time they go for it, they just lose too many members to allow Rival to stay relevant in the game.
Yeah, they just have not been able to win. Neither team really has been able to win a fight cleanly yet. Rapio does get caught by the stun. Chronic can't make it in past the wall from DineOhSaw, so they deter the aggression yet again. But as we approach the 23-minute mark, Gold Fury being looked at, and it's actually being bursted by Davey's damage. I don't know if Rival can make it here in time. Now with the bombs in as well, Fable sneak one away.
This one will be clean. 3rd time's a charm as FableGG do not lose a member after securing a Gold Fury, getting themselves a little further ahead. It's nothing to write home about or to be impressed about, as DineOhSaw finds the route onto multiple members. His 50-meter fly trying to disengage.
DineOhSaw now is the one that's getting collapsed on, still alive for the moment, but gets pulled back in, and Davey finds the shot. Chronic gonna fall in trade, though. Now Waldrom's down, 50-meter fly, able to find a double kill for himself in this fight. Davey looking for the shots on 50-meter fly, who's dancing, has the Aegis, and they save his life. Next up on the chopping block is Killy, who at least takes down the mid-mage first. All 5 members of Fable are down, and Rival still has 3 standing.
It's a Rival rampage as all 5 members from Fable fall victim to the onslaught. And as I say, they don't lose anyone after the Gold Fury. They force a team fight to lose everyone after the Gold Fury. Rival can easily get at least a tier 1 mid tower for their troubles, but instead Predators going to position themselves for the Fire Giant. They do have Vaporish Coast alive, and that's the one player you want to be there to get the damage off.
They're going to go ahead and get this started even before Vaporish Coast makes it. DineOhSaw is up 50-meter fly with a 20-second respawn timer. I don't think he'll make it up in time to get this buff here for himself, but this should be free for Team Rival. No one from Fable
Are they going to wait the full 12 seconds?
They're holding it. Yeah.
They're holding it for 50-meter fly.
But now Chronic's on his way. They got to be careful.
They need to end this now.
The stun comes out. That's going to stop him making it over to the area, so Rival do grab it. In the end, they're not able to get a 50-meter fly. In fact, the ultimate slap in the face with 1 second left on his respawn timer, they finish it, knowing that they just can't chance Chronic.
Definitely the correct call. I like the fact that they even risk it.
Fight, though.
Chronic just jumps in. He knocks up 3 members because Auzrik is right next to him.
Incredibly low now as Vaporish, and Auzrik takes him down. A very important member of Team Rival that's no longer going to be in this fight. Predators comes in to look for damage as Davey has to settle for the snipes up in the air. 50-meter fly gets dumped on and has to use Tycho drums to create some space, but the bombs are just too good. Waldrom takes him down. 2 members for 0.
Couldn't do anything. Tier 2 tower gonna look at here. Predators knocked up into the sky. Bad. 3rd victim for Rival. tier 2 tower rewarded to Fable, and they strip away the Fire Giant members that they needed to, which was Vaporish Coast. He couldn't get his ultimate off. I think it just barely came off cooldown.
Now they don't have minions here just yet. Now they finally come into the tower line. DineOhSaw goes in, lands the roots of the chains, are able to strike home, and is able to pull in 2 members, but the bombs are going to deter the aggression. Phoenix falls for FableGG. You might have thought they were the ones that got the Fire Giant with the pressure they were able to get after.
Just really ground and pound kind of teams. Both of these two European squads battling at each other's throats now. It doesn't matter what team has Fire Giant because the other one will fight you apparently and get the win. They knew how many relics were not available for Rival. So taking advantage of 50-meter fly that had to disengage, even having to use that ultimate defensively couldn't save him.
Totally, you just said it doesn't matter who got the Fire Giant. I think if we were anywhere else in any other game at any other time, I would get mad at you, totally. But you're 100% right here. Apparently, it does not matter between these two squads. Scrim partners for a reason. They're just so close, our Fable and Team Rival. And even though they get the Fire Giant, they get caught up in that jungle path there between mid and then moving into the jungle. And in particular, Chronic kind of forces the fight. And he looks for Vaporish Coast early, and he looks for him fast. And as soon as they lose him, they lose a ton of damage.
And they forced that fight knowing that 50-meter fly just respawned. That's why the Fire Giant needed to be secured then and there, no more waiting. They had to wait a full 12 seconds for the potential that Raijin was going to get that Fire Giant buff. And a calculated aggression out of Fable, taking a 5-on-4.
And that's a good point. The call to try and get 50-meter fly the Fire Giant changes that. If they grab that Fire Giant immediately and just leave, and yes, 50-meter fly doesn't get it, but they don't lose the fight, we're talking about an entirely different game. Now it's Fable with a chance to come look for the tier 2, but Team Rival are not looking to give this up for free. Teleports coming in. Predators will be here for the defense.
Trying to go in at 5-on-5. All members are here from both teams. Stun not connecting onto Predators, forcing the jump. Skilly trying to disengage. He has Magus Cloak, so he will absorb any sort of CC, but can't say the same for Chronic.
Rapio goes in. He's looking for the chains, and he is not able to pull anyone in. Chronic on the backside, up against 50-meter fly, gets punished, but it's Davey is the one that falls. All get pulled in back by Killy, and Predators has to immediately go up into the somersault cloud. Same luxury not available for DineOhSaw, though, who ends up falling 1-for-1. So far, Predator lands the stun, and the rest of the damage is here in tow.
2-for-1. Make that Auzrik go in landing, making it 2-for-2. Still being aggressive as Chronic. 1v1 onto Vaporish Coast. Samuel buying him some sustain, but the young Hunter winning that trade.
Auzrik comes in though and finds Rapio on the backside. So 2 versus 2 are what's remaining. Waldrom forced to retreat, but Auzrik has enough HP to potentially cause problems for Vaporish Coast. 50-meter fly goes in aggressive. Overhead kick takes down Vaporish Coast. Now he has the chance to stand 1v1 versus 50-meter fly. Double kill now for Auzrik. The jungler coming out for FableGG and looking good. Full-blown deicide as Auzrik stands tall.
Both of these teams just taking turns. It's like, hey, do you want a deicide? No, we got the last one. This one's on me. You got it this time. Don't worry about it. Rival, they need to kind of slow down the pacing. They don't have to take all these fights and chase them into oblivion because they're leaving too much left on the table. Their backline is left exposed. If Vaporish Coast falls or 50-meter fly, the rest of Rival ultimately crumble. Davey being the first victim for Fable was the key sign that Rival wanted to keep forcing down that team fight without the enemy Hunter, which is understandable, but when you lose your own Hunter on the flip side, well, now everything is even-steven for both of these teams, and we have 60 kills on the board in less than 30 minutes of play, Finch.
It's been a ton of action here, Totally. And this set, I mean, we kind of thought after how strong Rival looked that they might be able to come in here and look just like the clearly stronger team. That has not been the case. Maybe game 1 was tough, but Fable are right there with them here in game 2. Fire Giant should be back up on the map here shortly, but everyone from Rival has respawned. We're going to get a rinse, watch, and repeat of that fight that we just saw here around the Fire Giant.
And this will be the enhanced Fire Giant buff for all these teams. Spawning after the 25-minute mark. Once the first one's down, you're getting that 30% extra structure damage, additional magical and physical. As Predators, he's going to rock in a hard place.
Well, as Predators often is, he's just in between 4 members of the enemy team, except this time he gets blown up immediately. Yes, Chronic found the last hit, but that was a team effort, and they could turn towards the Fire Giant now.
Sometimes you got a war, but ultimately, if no one's there close enough to back you up, you need help, and you need to send recon. to bail yourself out, and no one was even in the same area code, unfortunately, for Predators. And Fable taking advantage in a 5-on-4, secures themselves that enhanced Fire Giant. They're the ones to continue the sieging, and if they can find some picks under this middle Phoenix, they could end.
And I want to give some credit here to Waldrom while we have a chance. He may not have the most kills, but he's second on his team in damage. And these long-range stuns from the Agni have been instrumental in Fable being able to turn these team fights around. The siege is on, though. Remember, this Phoenix is already weakened as Rapio goes up for the pull, forces the Aegis and the beads to come out from Davey. Mid-Phoenix falls, and now he's looking for the shots on the Rapio on the backhand side. They are going to be able to retreat, and Rapio now is the one that has to run. Vaporus finds Chronic, who goes in very aggressive.
Oh, the Mantle of Discord will stun out Auzrik, avoiding the stun, but he gets rooted into place. Predators teleporting to the left-hand side. Middle Phoenix does fall as Chronic zoned for as long as he possibly could. He took the ultimate tumble. Predators is going to chase this one out, and he sees that Waldrom dashed away.
Team Rival are actually able to come in and tank the Gold Fury, so Fable are not going to be able to secure that one for themselves. Again, we're 31 minutes into this contest, so I don't know how much the Gold Fury is going to matter too much of these teams, as they've got plenty of gold from all these kills totally. But certainly that one goes the way of Rival. They stopped Fable from getting it literally everything that they wanted, but the mid-Phoenix does fall yet again.
This is still anyone's game as we're approaching 32 minutes. Even with the middle Phoenix down from Rival, they're not deterred from trying to make the plays happen. They have the success with the late game. 13, 5, and 13 reads the score for this young Vaporish Coast, piloting the Hachiman, really making it happen for Rival. And not just this set, but even the set before. He has his moments where he just pops off and looks like a madman. But this set specifically, Davey has had some highlights of his own.
There's still some structures left, though, that Fable have got to take care of, and that looks to be the call. Tier 1, Tier 2 in duo, Tier 2 still standing in solo, which will make their job much easier if they are able to make it to the Titan and start looking to put damage into it. DineOhSaw's here, but not really going to put up a defense. This Tier 2 is going to fall. Remember, they still have Fire Giant on these 4 members, everyone except Chronic, I believe, who is the one that fell on the push to open up the space for them to get that mid-Phoenix.
Not wanting to aggress on the left side Phoenix, stripping away the Tier 2 on the right would ultimately leave the Titan a little bit more exposed, but instead, they're setting up an ambush and putting their trap card face down.
Davey now moving into position, not able to spring that trap. Instead, Team Rival seem to have sniffed that one out. Chronic going to keep this mid-wave pushed up, though. 50-meter fly lurking, so he'll certainly have a chance to keep this wave cleared. But this is exactly what Fable wants. They got another minute or so on the Fire Giant to try and force this push.
33 minutes, Fable still with Fire Giant for about another minute. It's the enhanced Fire Giant. And with Davey having it, this is your hunter that is going to chuck.
Oh,
the Rama attack speed. You're looking at Rama and Artemis specifically for the attack speed steroids to really start machine gunning down, finding the sieges onto these Phoenixes.
We even saw the potion come out. Waldrom is ready to rock. Chronic already takes a good bit of damage. DineOhSaw has the monolith down, but is not going to actually look for the root. Waldrom does find the stun on the DineOhSaw. They find the burst, but the chains are going to come out from Rapio. He's not going to be able to get the pull onto Killy, so an ult's down for Team Rival as Fable back up, and they're looking to push one more time.
Only the Maggai's Blessing was popped for Killy. The success from Rapio in the early game is not translating very well in the late. Fable are the ones with the ball in their court. They need to find the right opening to go in to secure themselves a second Phoenix, because mid-Phoenix about to respawn in 30 to 45 seconds.
But Fire Giant buff is almost done as Earth and Fury comes out from DineOhSaw. Killy goes up and pulls Predator right back into the rain fire. He's getting low, and he's got to look for the retreat path. No! Somersault Cloud, he wants to keep going for even more. Mountain Archery hits nearly everybody as FableGG are on the retreat.
Oh, David trying to dash away from that one will do so successfully. No one from Fable falls, but they don't get that prize of the left Phoenix. Mid-Phoenix will respawn in 15 seconds or so, but no issue for Rival to defend that one.
Yeah, Fable just need to back now, regroup, and then look to start positioning around the Fire Giant, because Team Rival could be forced back to try and defend and make sure this Phoenix stays healthy. And it could be an opportunity for them to grab it for free. But this is not going to be easy for either one of these teams totally to try and end this game. You saw how patient Fable played it at the Phoenix, and they still didn't even get a scratch on it.
Honestly, I'm sweating just watching this game.
Yeah.
I can only imagine these sweaty nerds right here inside their booths trying to make it happen in the best-of-3 set. Rival only one game away to close it out. Fable needs 2 in a row. Keep in mind, this
That's right,
35-minute game, Fable, even if they win this one, need to go through one more ringer.
Yeah, that's a tall task, right? You got to get this done again, is what Fable are thinking. But right now, they can't think that. They just got to win this game that's in front of them and keep moving forward. They have a chance now to take down Rival, who are going to come out for the defense on the Fire Giant. They're not going to stay back on their Phoenixes and give this one up. It's close enough where they can still fight this, certainly.
It's going to be a battle of the Sentry Ward Vision. ChronicTheBros a little too far forward. Waldrom not on the mark with the Agni Bomb stun, but this Chulainn is very low.
They're looking for the collapse on the Predators, who goes up into the ultimate. Rapio dashes in aggressively with Predators there to follow him up and support. Vapor's Coast is able to take down Auzrik. Predators is still standing at this point. A 50-meter fly comes in with the Taiko drums. Waldrom is falling. Davey now is in trouble as well. DineOhSaw takes him down. Double kill for Rapio.
This is it.
4 members of Fable have fallen. Rival have turned this game around entirely and are ready to push.
It's only ChronicTheBros left alive. Fire Giant not even necessary for Rival to end the game. They're going to have to go through a tier 2 in middle and at least one of these Phoenixes down the mid lane. He needs to hold this now, but he doesn't have an ultimate for another 60 seconds. He only has Thorns. He needs to hold it on for the Titan room. Don't use it here in the middle, Phoenix. Let it go. Just defend the Titan.
This is it. Chronic versus the world. Heartbreak potentially on the line for Fable right now as Team Rival come barreling into the Titan room. 1v5. Chronic doesn't have a chance. He's deleted. Rival have done it. They take down Fable. GG. And they're going to keep moving through the tournament. But what a showing from the second place team here in EU.
What a performance. There was so many kills in so little time between these two teams. Every 10 minutes, it seems like there was another 20 kills almost added between the two of them. Very impressive stuff between these two scrim partners that just have so much knowledge and in-depth strategy of what the other wants to do. So it's no surprise to me, actually, that we get this kind of high-intensity game.
Yeah, I know that they weren't able to pull it out in the end, but I don't want them to feel too disappointed if they're one of the members of this Fable roster, as they have looked so strong here so far at this tournament. They just need a little bit more to where they're able to stand up here against a Rival. As you mentioned, their scrim partners, we see them all coming in certainly close, and they know how much this all meant to everybody, but Rival are the ones who are able to come out on top, and everyone on that team looks so strong for me on this Rival roster.
It's the LAN experience, like we were alluding to earlier. Rival having so much more experience, still Fable needing to take a page out of their book, whether or not it's the strategy-wise or the LAN experience-wise. We're definitely going to be seeing more of Fable come summer.
Oh, I think so for sure. I mean, this Fable roster has looked strong, and I would not forget about this team. They looked incredibly strong here so far. But who was your MVP in that set? If it's Vapor's Coast, I wouldn't have a problem with it. If it's 50-meter fly, I wouldn't have a problem with it. If it's DineOhSaw, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I mean,
I don't know. Rapio played really well.
If it's Rapio, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Like during the early game, his pulls were just mechanically on point.
Yeah.
So many times. A little staggered in the later portion. I think all of Rivals should be MVP.
Yeah, if there's some kind of way we can get that done. Yeah, we actually had a tie earlier today, didn't we? Between two members, not between the whole team. But yeah, it's something that happens. So we'll see if maybe Mixer Chat makes it happen for us one more time. Make sure that you vote, and I'm going to make sure that we get you over to the desk to break it down.
Thanks a lot, John Finch and Anatoly. Well, they tried so hard, but in the end, it didn't really matter. Fable
very
couldn't find that second game.
Man, it was so close, wasn't it? I just love the way that Fable was playing, though. I mean, it looked like they had won every game over the last few weeks with how much confidence they were playing with. Davey was really into it, and then ADC roll. He's rolling in his Ram and hitting incredible shots on that snipe, too. I mean, they said it there at the end. We're going to be seeing more of this Fable roster. I know this isn't the result they wanted. They go 0-4 today, and their run ends here at the Spring LAN, but that's about as good as you could look in an 0-4 run.
No, it was a really good performance. If you actually look at the last game as well, though, Aggro, I mean, it started off just as it began for Fable. Every game did well at the start and then petered off. However, they came back in that one to show that they have a bit of late game in them, too.
And they did it. They had really good late game team fights. It's just they had trouble breaking the base. Predators was such a nuisance on that Sun Wukong that they couldn't just bring him down, and that ended up really being a problem for them in the later stages.
Commiserations to Fable, but congratulations to Rival. They will move on in the lower bracket now, and Predators will be the MVP of that game. The Sun Wukong came to play and caused a lot of problems for the Fable boys.
It was just a real annoyance, it felt like. I mean, it just didn't necessarily be like the guy, like Chronic was being on that Chulainn, who was winning 4v1s at times where he gets 2 kills and escapes. I mean, both solo laners played really, really well in this set, and it was fun to watch.
And it's just dealing with 2-3 people at a time, causing them a problem. And when he gets in trouble, what do? Well, I can jump on my cloud, get to safety, and recharge and go again.
That's what Sun Wukong does. He is the annoyance king, basically, out of the solo lane. He's just so hard to deal with. He brings good CC, brings good disruption, decent damage as well. He kind of fits the same build that Chulainn does, where these are gods that are very difficult to kill, while also can kill you if left alone. So it really felt like a majority of that game, it was Hunter v Hunter, in Davey versus Vaporish, in solo versus solo, in Chronic versus Predators, and Rival ends up just barely on top in both of those instances, but overall, I think that this is as impressed as I could ever be with a team that went 0-4. I think Fable has some bright futures ahead of them. Yeah,
good luck to Fable going forward of how they perform. We may see some of those players in the future. The summer split is on its way. But Rival, that second game wasn't clean from them, was it, honestly? And
no.
Is that a good sign or a bad sign if you're a Rival fan, knowing you're going to have to face off against North America soon?
Look, I just got through praising Fable, saying they're pretty good, but this is not a good look for Rival overall. I mean, Rival didn't have any close games really during the entirety of the spring split. Now, you could tell, on land, Fable turned up, but I do think that Rival stumbled a little bit more than they probably would have liked. But now they get an opportunity to take a look and see what Elevate and Astral look like against one another. Now, they should have done a lot of homework because these teams have played against each other a lot during the console series and try and get an understanding of how these teams like to play against one another. But this is a great opportunity for Rival to learn how to attack either Elevate or Astral Authority, because whoever they end up facing, whoever loses this matchup, is going to be a tough task for Rival.
That's fair. The other thing to mention as well, Rival and Fable are scrim partners. They've been around fighting to get here to this point. I guess one thing to really mention on that is that when you do scrim them so much, if you are winning the scrims and you know you're a better team than them, you can play down to their level sometimes and give them a window to exploit, which is what it looked like in game 2.
You can, but if I'm on Rival, I just want as much confidence as I possibly can.
That's fair.
Going, 40-something minutes against Fable isn't the best way to build that confidence, I should say. I would have much rather, if I'm rooting for Rival, see them come out and just stomp a team that you know that they can stomp.
Well, with that, it's time to head over to the interview desk. The Rival boys are standing by to give us a breakdown of what they thought about that game.
All right, I'm standing by here with Team Rival. We got Vaporish Coast and DineOhSaw here with me, the dual lane Rival. First off, I want to say congratulations. Y'all look great there in that set. But I got to ask you, when you all are in comms and Predators is 800 light years away fighting 5 people, what are the comms like in that moment when he's like 1v4 or 1v5ing or however it seems he always is doing?
It's not really talking about him. We're kind of panicking because I don't know if you saw that last game, but we were getting destroyed by that Chulainn. He was running a train, like Preds was killing 4 people, but we had some problems dealing with that. We just let him do him.
It definitely felt like both solo laners were popping off. Yeah. Between the both of your teams, collectively, you guys had like 70+ kills. Yep. What happened? Like, is it because you two are scrim partners that you got into each other's heads? Like, what was the reasoning?
I'd say scrim partners is a large part about it. They know exactly what we want to play. We know exactly what they want to play. We just came straight off the back of the Astral set, and we're quite tired. That game was by no means clean in any way, a bit bumpy, but yeah, a bit of both of those things.
Now, I feel like Davey looked a lot better there in game 2 than he did in game 1. Was there anything that you all felt like that was different that had him looking better up against you all in particular in that game? Anything you all were doing different, or maybe that they were doing different?
Davey's just a really good player. It's just, I think he just had one bad game, but honestly, he's on the level of me. It's just he hasn't really got the chance to show it. He hasn't got the chance to shine yet, but I hope he gets that chance.
So you guys saying that you were a little tired after that last set, but honestly, would you rather be tired or coming in cold? Because getting that warm-up, to me, at least as a spectator, feels like it helped you in that set.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're a bit overly tired, I'd say. It's nice to come in with a bit of a warm-up, but I put literally everything into that Astral set. I don't know about you, but...
Nah, can we be able to talk?
That's how I feel. Yeah, absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, I know it was rough that y'all weren't able to grab it, but that is going to be this next set here, Elevate going up against Astral. I mean, is there anyone in particular that you all are hoping kind of that to face off against, or like, what are y'all's thoughts as y'all are watching that set?
We learned a lot from playing Astral first set today. We're hoping, because they're scrim partners, they'll have to dig deep and show a few strats that we haven't seen, so that when we go back into our sets against either of them tomorrow, we have a better chance of beating them.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Rival. It's been a pleasure watching you guys perform today, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.